Welcome to another edition of Insurance. No, it's not insurance, Don.
No, it's
Oh,
not.
it's Bucky's. We're all going to go to Bucky's and we're going to eat some Pop Tarts and
Pop
some
Torts.
Pop Torts and some prickly pear jam. I think that sounds delicious.
Not
Don, what do you
today.
think?
Not today. Not today.
Not today. So, how are you, Donnie Lowe?
Doing good. Doing good. How was your
Oh,
weekend?
I lost you. Couldn't hear you there for a second. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
So I got a question for you. Are you ready for some football?
Yeah, baby. Big Monday night game. Bills and Jets.
So Monday Night Football. But before we get off track here, all the comments and statements by Eddie Buffalo and Donnie Lowe are purely for entertainment purposes.
And wherever you view or listen to the podcast, please be sure to like, but more importantly, subscribe and hit that fan mail button so that you can communicate with us. And the TikTokers, Eddie loves that just going back and forth with TikTok. So send us your questions or comments, anything that you want to see or hear on the show, any special guests that you might have in mind. We would love to entertain you. So thank you. We appreciate you. And on with the show.
So, Donnie, what did you do this weekend? Anything fun?
I kind of, Saturday was a gorgeous day. And sunny, low to mid 60s. So I kind of got the house ready for winter. I took the screens off, cleaned them, washed the windows, put the storm window, took off the screen on the front door, storm door, and put the window on, and just getting ready for winter. I took advantage, mowed the lawn, all that kind of stuff. How about you?
I just took it easy this weekend. Didn't really do much. I watched, America's team, supposedly, Dallas Cowboys, get the living crap kicked out of them. Yeah, Ike, I'm throwing it at you, baby.
Oh,
that's
man.
what it is.
Don't do that to Ike. I like Ike, so don't do that to him.
He's like, oh, my wife's even picking on me. I'm like, figures.
Yeah, that's tough.
So,
we'll see what happens with the Bills tonight. So.
Unfortunately, our guest today couldn't make it. He's actually teaching a class, but he will be on next week. So Perfect. We'll talk about the new home of KC Fitness back in Orchard Park. I think it's in Orchard Park. It might be Hamburg,
Yes.
But and I know this is a boxing show, but I'm super excited about Wednesday's show because I don't know if you watched it or not, Don, but there was a documentary. It was only like 2 hours long, maybe not even that long, and it was about cryptocurrency and how it started. And I mean, it hasn't been around that long.
No, it hasn't.
But it's crazy because I never knew the backstory about the gentleman that created Bitcoin. Nobody knows where he is. And none of his crypto has ever been traded. So we're going to dig into that a little bit more, and I'll try to get you a copy of it, Don, so you can watch it,
Yeah, I'd like to check that out.
So I was trying to figure out what we're going to do, and I think what we are going to do today, well, first of all, let's get our banners on there.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Oh,
but we're not talking cryptocurrency today.
No, it's the old one. I'll have to fix it. Fix it.
We're talking
anyway, I'm just leaving
fights, baby.
All right. It's still Insurance Questions podcast. We still own both shows. So whatever. So I thought it was going to be question day on the boxing show with Eddie and Donnie. You ready, Don?
Yeah.
Okay, yes, I did shave my head. What question do you have for me today, Don?
Oh, my goodness. Look at that.
What are we going to be talking about today, Don?
You know what? You remind me of the Riddler in Batman. He used to wear that outfit with the question
mark. Riddle me this, Batman.
Riddle me this, Batman.
You could be either Lex Luthor or Dr. Freeze. Well, both of us with our bald heads.
Right right now you're more bald than I am.
Your co-host bought these for me.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah.
I love it.
What question do you have for me?
All right. So
Hello.
we're gonna talk about some bare knuckle boxing or bare knuckle fighting, and it's very interesting. I did a little bit of research and
And what
the
did you
history of
find
it.
out, Don?
Well, am I supposed to ask you a question, or do you want me to just talk a
Well,
little
no,
bit?
because I had you look up a question for me this morning because I wasn't sure of, when it was.
Yeah.
But my question to you was, when did bare knuckle boxing start as a sport in the States?
So, well, I'm not exactly sure the year it started in the States as a sport, but as a sport in the UK, in England, believe it or not, it started in the first documented fight, bare knuckle fight, 1681.
That's
And
insane.
that is insane.
You keep on talking, Don. I think somebody was at my door, actually.
All right, it must be the Amazon guy. So anyway, in 1681, there was a professional bout with a local butcher and a duke of one of the one of the dukes. I don't know. I'm not even sure which region or duke of. It wasn't the Duke of Windsor or anything like that, but it was a duke.
Hey, Don, why
And
don't you come live where I live? I get a free month off if you come live here.
oh, look at that! Look at
That's
that.
what it was, a flyer.
So did you hear what I was saying? Who
Yes.
the first fight involved?
Yes.
And the butcher was known to be a very tough guy, and so he won that first, I guess, official bare knuckle boxing match back in 1681. Pretty
John
crazy.
Sullivan was known in the States as being a really great bare knuckle boxer.
Yeah.
I mean, but back then, it's crazy. It just went on and on and on. I think the one bout they said went over 100 rounds. I mean, that's insane.
Yeah, that really is, and I know that it's kind of like transformed over the years. So one of the last transformations of bare knuckle boxing in 1867, they kind of set some rules in place, and the rules are pretty much used in regular boxing today. They that's when they determined that a round would consist of 3 minutes, and you had 1 minute to rest in between the rounds. And if a fighter got knocked down, pretty much that's when they came up with the rule that that fighter had to get up unaided within 10 seconds. So if he wasn't unable to get up, then he was declared knocked out and the fight was over. So, and also, they call this the Marquette of Queensberry rules. And
I always have trouble saying that, so I'm glad you said it instead of me.
And I don't even know if it's proper or not, the proper way to say it. But that's when they first introduced the weight divisions that still stand to this day. So it's so back in the 1800s is when they kind of formalized it and made it more civil, I guess, more professional. But so prior to that, like headbutting was allowed. It was almost like you could wrestle, you can kick, and kind of almost like MMA today, but so they kind of try to clean that part of it up a bit and made it more of a gentlemanly type of sport, knocking the heck out of each other.
Oh, just recently, where did you say Michigan was the first one to sanction a fight in their state in 2018?
Wisconsin, I believe it was.
Wisconsin. I couldn't remember.
Yeah. So I know in 2018.
Now, in all your studying, did you find the two major types of bare knuckle boxing?
Yeah, I don't remember the names of them.
There's fair play and rough and tumble.
Oh, right. And I guess go on. I was thinking of like there were different rules, and that's kind of
rough and tumble is anything goes.
Yeah.
and I'm really mad that I didn't learn more about this man until I read his book. There's a gentleman that grew up in Southern Ontario, in Niagara Falls, Ontario, actually. And the name of the gentleman is Bobby Gunn. He
Ah,
is known to be one of the toughest son of a guns, not to be funny, out there. I mean, he was the number one guy out there. And the book that I read was Bare Knuckle. I mean,
ah,
as you see, I don't know if you can see on the screen though, but he retired with 73-0 as his record.
oh my God, that's amazing.
And if you watch some of his bouts on YouTube, because before 2019, there's a bunch of videos out there about bare knuckle boxing, but it was usually underground, like in a dirty cellar or like a dirty parking garage or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, like I was saying, fair play is where you agree to some rules. You're not going to fight dirty. You're going to try to get things done as quickly as possible, but not being dirty about it. Rough and tumble, all bets are off.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, when I read his book, I actually didn't read it. I listened to it. My girls got me into listening to audiobooks. And some of the stuff that Bobby talked about was some stuff that's going to stick with me for the rest of my life.
Really?
He's bit noses off. He's knocked
Yeah.
eyeballs out. He has bitten ears off. Talk about Tyson biting off ears. This is just normal in a day of fighting, if it was rope and tumble.
Wow.
And I've shared some of these stories with you where there'd be a point where he actually ripped off someone's manhood. Not the main thing, but let's say his punching bag. Ripped that right off. I mean, it's horrifying to me.
That is.
That
is.
Like, how are these guys not in jail?
I know.
You know what I mean?
Did he ever fight in the States, or was he only in Canada?
He did. He had a very short boxing career, and it was a kind of a sad story because I mean we've known some boxers, and it's a story that is kind of sad because I mean they have all these dreams and ambitions, and so did he.
Mm-hmm.
And after losing, like I said, you have that zero. Once you lose that zero and you got beat by somebody, you're less marketable. Yeah. And so he ended up just being sparring partners for a lot of these guys.
Well, didn't you say that his record was like 73-0
for bare knuckle boxing? But how much, who kept those records? They're just guessing. And he got involved with sanctioned bare knuckle boxing, which a lot of people were surprised that it could ever happen. Because there was so many states that wanted nothing to do with it.
I can understand why.
Mm-hmm. So, but I mean, there's one, and I've told you the story, and I'm not gonna tell you what it says because it's her most horrific thing I've ever heard in my life. But you definitely, if you are interested in this, I would pick up Bobby Gunn's book. I'm going to show it again. It is Bare Knuckle, Bobby Gunn story. He would always talk about how these guys would not try to hit bone on bone because he'd end up breaking something.
Oh, yeah.
And a guy he was fighting, got a little bit dirty when he wasn't supposed to, when it was supposed to be fair play.
Oh, really?
So he hit him square in the forehead, and the middle of this gentleman's face split open. And I'm not going to tell you what Bobby said it looked like because it's something that's going to stick with me for the rest of my life. You got to listen or read the book. I'm not sponsored by this guy. I'm a student of the fight world. and it's just horrific. I mean, it reminds me of getting into a fight, when you're in high school and grammar school, and but this is like these guys are getting paid for this.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, what were his active years fighting? Do you know?
Well, he is a little bit younger than me. He's 50 years old.
Oh, okay.
He was born in 73.
So
So,
it's
I'm
recent.
surprised we didn't hear about this guy, Don, but
Yeah.
it kind of makes sense because we were in the business world while he was doing underground fighting.
That's wild. That is wild.
And it was very interesting to know about the culture he grew up in, too, because he called himself a gypsy. And that's a term you don't use anymore
Yeah.
to describe people. They like being called travelers, And some of the stories he would talk about that his father would come home, bring a grown man home, wake him up, and say, "Fight this guy," and then he would beat the living hell out of the guy.
Wow.
So it's very interesting. There's some parallels between him and Tyson. Because I'll never forget what Roy Jones Jr. said about Mike Tyson, that to this day he was hit harder than anybody else has ever hit him before,
Wow.
And
I mean, Tyson was a bull, just solid.
And I have to say, I did start reading Tyson's autobiography for a reason, because I don't know if you're into the world of audiobooks or Audible, but a lot of the books are spoken word of the person that wrote it. Like Geddy
Right.
Lee's book, My Effin' Life. It was him talking, I think I told you I'm trying to get more cultured. I never read The Old Man of the Sea, and I started listening to that, and it's Donald Sutherland. And I'm like, so as soon as I saw the Tyson fight, I'm like, oh my God, how awesome would it be to listen to him talk? But unfortunately it wasn't. I mean, and Tyson would go on and on and on about all these horrific things he did, whether it is beating the hell out of somebody or a lot of womanizing. And it's like he'd always end with, "Yeah, but I'm a really nice guy." I'm like, I really don't think so.
I know. Based on the stuff he did, right? Where did he grow up? I forgot. Do you know?
He was in New York.
In New York? Okay.
Yeah, Customato took him at a very young age. I mean, he wrote about when he was 8, 9 years old, beating up grown men and stealing their wallets and their chains and everything like that. And it's like,
wow. Oh
my Lord, and now he's a multimillionaire because of the pot industry. So he probably making more on that than he ever did fighting. But the amount of money that he burned through just blew me away.
Yeah, that's crazy. And you read about and hear about, all these celebrities, entertainers, that they get this windfall of money, out of overnight.
So
and
it's
they're bankrupt.
It's like giving a starving guy a cracker, And plus, when you are men like this, and this bleeds over to the sports world of like football, basketball, hockey, baseball. One thing with famous people that are good in their sport, everybody's praised them since they were young men.
Yeah.
And no one's ever said no.
That's true.
So that's when these guys get in trouble, you're like, here's another one. Like we tease about it, but it's kind of true. It's like, if you ever see a professional athlete investing in something, run the other direction. Yeah, it's true. Look at how much Tom Brady lost. Oh, poor Tom Brady. Oh, like what, $36 million or something crazy like that?
Yeah, with cryptocurrency.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I am looking forward to Wednesday's show. I think I might actually watch that special again. It was super interesting. It really was,
Yeah, it sounds it. I'll have to check it out. So thanks for sending me the info on it.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
But
Now, just getting back to Tyson real quick. I know we're going to talk a little bit
mhm.
more about bare knuckle fighting, but so he's got a match coming up and a big bout coming up in a couple of weeks, right? Or is it?
No, it got canceled.
Oh, okay.
It got canceled a while ago.
Oh, see, I thought I heard that, and then I thought I saw that he was still
Well, he
preparing.
looked like a monster in the ring still, but when he was outside the ring, I mean, he was walking like an old fella, and I get that because you were never a fighter, Don. So when you're in the ring, it's like muscle memory takes over, and like
Yeah,
whatever ailments you had, I ain't feeling that. I just want to, get to work,
that's true.
and so I can see that. But Logan Paul was the gentleman that he was supposed to fight,
Right.
and it was supposed to be in Dallas.
Mm.
And here's the thing: you're a young kid. You're fighting a 50-some-year-old Mike Tyson. He couldn't win either way. So if he
Yeah.
beat Tyson, he beat up an old man.
Yeah.
If Tyson beat him, he got beat up by an old man.
You're right.
So there was it was a lose-lose situation for those kids.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah.
It'd be like a young teenager beating you in pickleball, Don, and they would just be beating an old man. But if you beat a kid, you were picking on a kid. You know?
It's funny because last year one of my tennis buddies, well, two of them, because they played doubles against, and they're I don't know, probably let's say 50-ish or so, and they're playing doubles against 13, 15-year olds, and the kids were real good, but my buddies were like, I couldn't play my game because it was a no-win situation. If I hit it hard, like, if you try to hit it hard at somebody's feet so they can't get the return, and so he didn't want to be accused of going after the kids. And he said, but they were playing very good, but they just felt like no matter what they did, it was a lose-lose situation.
Mhm.
Oh, sure. No, they were younger than 13 and 15. I think they were more like 10 and 11 or something like that. Sort of like, how can you play against kids, and, oh yeah, sure. You beat them. You beat up a 10 or 11-year-old kid,
Exactly.
right? Oh, you
But
let a 10 or 11-year-old kid beat you in tennis? Oh my God, you
like
guys are pathetic.
we were talking about this once before. I mean, you can't teach fast. You can't teach strong. And there was one thing that I thought was really interesting because I've had that same thing happen to me where I hit the bag so hard I can see the stitching of the bag on my
That's
gloves.
that's why they don't let you back into that gym anymore, right?
Right, smart. So they had another video. Bobby Gunn was doing a lot of training in the Catskills because that's where a lot of the boxers would train.
Oh, that's
And
interesting.
if you get a chance, look up Two-Ton Tony.
Two-ton Tony. I'm gonna write
We're
that
gonna
down.
save him for another show because
All right.
he was a character. And there's actually a really good story about him and Jackie Gleason.
Oh, really?
Didn't end out well for Jackie Gleason. I'll tell you that. So the reason I'm talking to this is that I don't know if you've ever hit a bag,
Maybe when I was younger,
but I learned quickly never hit a canvas bag with bare hands, unless you want your hands looking like meat. Because it's
I
just
could
such
see
a rough
that.
material.
Yeah.
So I was watching another YouTube video about Bobby Gunn when he was training in the Catskills, and he was hitting leather bags. Don, he was hitting these bags so hard that you could see the imprint of his fist on the friggin' leather.
Oh my goodness.
Just incredible.
That's amazing. But I mean, you hit it so hard with a glove that you can see the seam on your glove. That's amazing. That's pretty hard.
And like I said, it's one thing you can't teach. If I was faster, I'd still be fighting, but that ain't happening. No, I gotta catch you. I gotta catch you first to hit you, and that
that's one good thing. I know I can run faster than you.
You
So
can definitely outrun me, Don. Yes. So check out Bobby Gunn's book. You know, it is entertaining if you want to get the audible of it or whatever, because it goes by pretty fast. And some of the stuff that is said in there, you will never, ever, ever, ever forget.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I will check that out. And just going back a little bit to the bare knuckle fighting or boxing, it's interesting, so we mentioned like the first fight was back in, 1600s. And I guess the first set of rules were kind of written up in
Who did Bobby
1743.
Gunn fight in professional boxing? Go ahead, Don.
I said the first set of rules for bare knuckle boxing
Bobby Gunn fought several notable
were 1743 is when they came up with those rules.
Challenged for the WBO cruiserweight title.
That's what I was trying to remember. The big name he fought was James Toney. And James Toney just beat the living hell out of him.
Wow.
Go ahead, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to
No,
interrupt.
that's good.
Mhm.
No, so I mean, with the rules, being written in the early 1700s.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, you were in what, your 30s back then? So is it different that you've seen it, when they were doing portraits of fighters and then it moved on to TV, like, in the early 1960s and 70s?
I would say it didn't hit TV for a long, long time.
Now, is it true that you were a professional wrestler, Don? What was your name, if that is true?
No, I was not a professional wrestler, but I have a feeling I don't like where this is gonna go.
What?
Who, me?
But tune in next week. We'll get Coach on, and he can talk about the new place in Orchard Park, New York. It looks beautiful from what I've seen so far.
Yeah, you had sent me some pictures, and it does look great.
Make sure everybody tunes in tomorrow for Tax Tips with Sassy Sarah.
Yeah.
And Wednesday, like I said, if you're curious about crypto, whether you know a lot or you know a little, I learned so much watching that documentary.
Yeah, that's
And
interesting.
when I watch those things, I take it with a grain of salt. If half of it's true, it's like, what?
I know.
Because there's a lot of mythology almost about crypto and how it got started, and who was the gentleman that started it, and where is he, and why isn't he around anymore, and where is all his crypto? Why can't you? Because I mean, the gist of it was that if he ever shows up and sells all his crypto, crypto's going into the dumper.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Especially, I thought it was interesting that a lot of countries are adopting Bitcoin as their currency. And you can go to the coffee shop and pay with your app.
That's wild.
Because it was El Salvador, they switched over. They have a young president. And we're going to do this, blah, 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 And it tanked. And they lost a ton of money. And it was like, we get him impeached. He's a jerk, blah, 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 blah. And then 2 months later, it rebounded to the point where the whole country's in the black.
Yeah.
So I don't mind riding a roller coaster, but that is one hell of a ride because it keeps on going up and there's only one way to go.
Yeah. No, it's so true. So true. I mean, kind of like the market, it's the ebbs and flows of what's going on in the world. The outside forces affect the market, crypto, etc.
Well, I think that's going to do it for this show, Don. Any predictions for tonight's Bills game?
I think the Bills are going to win. I don't know by how many. I don't know what the line is or anything, but I think they're going to come out on top.
I mean, Jets got rid of the coach. They demoted the guy that calls the plays, Nathaniel Hackett, on offense. So it's going to be interesting. You almost got to wonder if this guy's playing for his job, because there's a specter of Bill Belichick out there. I mean, especially here. I mean, not only did Dallas get beat 47-9 by the Detroit Lions, it was Jerry Jones' birthday yesterday.
Oh, was it really? Oh,
yeah.
My God.
And he's already come out and said, I'm not even thinking about changing the coach. I'm like, if you got to come out and say that, you're probably thinking about getting rid of the coach.
Yeah, that's true. Speaking of that game, did you see that play where I forgot his name, but wow, what a ghastly Great.
I thought you were talking about when the offensive lineman was trying to get a touchdown, which was hilarious because he could hardly move.
Yeah, no. I was talking about the
I haven't
injury.
watched the thing because I've seen so much horrible injuries like that. I think I'm okay not seeing it.
Yeah, I agree. I just happened to. My brother-in-law came over yesterday. He says, "Hey, let's just flip on the game," and I turned it on, and that's right when right after that happened, and they showed the replay, and he was down. It's like, oh my God.
Ugly, ugly, ugly.
Yeah, very ugly.
All right, Donnie. Well, you enjoy the rest of your day at Darien Lake. Keep the ride. Keep seated until the ride comes to a complete stop. Keep the lap bar down, and enjoy the rest of your day here at Darien Lake.
There you go. Very good. Very good.
So, like I said, tomorrow tune in for Tax Tips with Sarah. Wednesday we have our big Bitcoin show, and Thursday, have you got a topic yet for Potluck Thursday with Donnie Lowe?
No, because I always try to wait till we're closer to the day just to see what's going on in the world.
I mean, you're full of it. You probably don't even know what you're going to talk about yet.
I don't because I want to see what's happening.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
All right, I'll come up with something.
I'm Eddie Buffalo, and for Donnie Lowe, thank you for joining us. And remember, be good to yourself. Life's worth living, and keep punching, keep dodging, Donnie, keep dodging.
I know. I'm
All right,
running
guys,
fast.
Have a great day. Stay safe out there, folks.
Ciao. And arrivederci.
That's just ridiculous.
It is Columbus Day.